Hey everybody, Ronan here, back again in Sydney. So today is the 1st of February and it is just after 10 to 2 in the afternoon on Friday the 1st of Feb. So today is the day that we close registrations for the new course, which is Self-Leading Masters, which is about leveling up for big impact in 2019 and beyond. So we've got a bunch of people in, all my clients are in, it's going to be good fun, and we're running from Feb till May, and then I'm giving complimentary, free of charge admission to our inner circle for a year consecutive to that. So one of the things we're going to cover in there, so for anyone who's leveling up, you've got to look at what could stop you. So two of the biggest derailers, I call them, two of the biggest derailers to anybody's goals are two emotions which they're often not aware of. Some people are acutely aware of them and they spend their lives trying to wrestle with them. Others don't feel them at all or never have. That's a whole other conversation. Most of us have felt them at some point and maybe still are. However, I just want to try and debunk them a little bit here, because these emotions come from psychological constructs. So what are they? The two derailers and the two barriers I'm talking about are guilt and shame. Because if I say to you, hey, here, if you want, let's say, a box of chocolates, and I go, okay, here's a box of chocolates. For you to take the chocolates, for me to be able to give you the chocolates, you've got to actually receive them. But if you decide not to receive them, then I can't actually give them. It doesn't matter how much I want to give them. If you don't take them, I can't give them. So people often are setting goals and big dreams for themselves, and they're saying, oh, the universe doesn't work, or this doesn't work, or whatever doesn't work, because they're saying, I want to receive something. Now, very often these people don't realize that actually it is being given to them. They are actually being delivered this, but they're just not receiving it. So how would you know if someone's not receiving something even though they said they want it? Well, they could do some sabotaging behaviors. They could take actions that are contrary to what they say they want to achieve. And the reason guilt and shame are a little bit dangerous is because there are three other emotions which are in our DNA. They're just kind of in our makeup from the early days, you know, living in caves and all that kind of stuff. And those are anger, sadness, and fear. So anger and sadness and fear are basically part of the human condition in our DNA to an extent. They're not psychological constructs, we just feel them. Whereas guilt and shame cannot really occur without some psychological construct around it. You can't feel guilt without a construct that says, this should be how things are, I've done this, and therefore I've violated how things should be, and so therefore I should feel guilty. Or shame, which is, I've done something shameful that is against the norms of, you know, it could be a society, a family, an organization, our religion, whatever, right? Now, I'm not knocking anything here. I'm just saying that this is how it works. So one of the ways to deal with guilt and shame, because these are two massive blockers to receiving what you want, two ways to deal with them are to look at limitations and judgments, first of all. So when you're declaring what you want, you've got to eliminate limitations and judgments on yourself and judgments on others. So if you're saying you want something, but you're judging somebody else for doing it, and you're judging them negatively, well, then you're affecting what you say you want. So, for example, if you say, I want to have a great business, even if it means not spending a lot of time with your family, and then at the same time you look at others who are in business and who have families and don't spend a lot of time with their families, and you judge them negatively and you say they're terrible, they should feel guilty, they should feel ashamed, that's a terrible way to behave. If that's how you're thinking, then that means that if you're judging them, you're putting the same judgment on yourself, and so you're actually you're basically kind of hitting yourself. You know, it's like you're tripping yourself up while you're actually running a race. So the first thing to do is to actually look at where somebody else is doing it, or whatever you feel guilty about, look at where somebody else is doing it, or look at where somebody has done it to you. And if you look at where somebody has done it to you, okay, and then discover how it helped you, discover how it helped you grow, discover how it made you stronger maybe, and the same with the other person you might be judging. Look at them and say, well, how is it good for them? How is it good for their family? I won't quit. There always is a balancing side. There always is a yin and a yang. So if you're just seeing yin, just because you're missing yang doesn't mean yang isn't there. It actually is there. And if you don't see yang, well, then you only see one side, you're off balance. When you see the other side, you come back into balance. And same here, if you just see one side, you're off balance as well. So it's very important to see both sides. If you see both sides and you have them in equilibrium, then you'll be in balance. And if you're in balance, you won't feel guilt or shame. You won't feel any of those emotions. And if you're in balance, you'll be able to achieve what you want. So same with shame. So find what it is that you're feeling guilty or shameful about. Notice where it's been done to you and look at how it's made you stronger. Actually articulate. Just, if you're seeing only one side, it's not correct. You have to find the other side. So if you're seeing all negative, then find where the positive is. Find how it's helped you. And if you can find how whatever it is you're judging has helped you, then you're less likely to judge yourself for it. That's the reason for doing this. So if you're able to find how it's actually helped you, how whatever somebody else has done has helped you, you're less likely to judge it as being a terrible trait, and therefore you're less likely to feel this kind of secret guilt and shame, and therefore you're more likely to be able to receive what it is you say you want, or maybe even just declare it in the first place for the first time. There's a lot that can be said on this. It also ties in a bit to imposter syndrome, which I had a message last night on Facebook from somebody asking me to do a piece on imposter syndrome, and especially that a lot of women experience this. So I will do that in the next couple of days. I'll come back and I'll do a piece on imposter syndrome, but the guilt and shame kind of feeds into that as well. So I hope this helps. I know it's not the most exciting business talk I've ever done, but it is actually one of the most important things to know about. So guilt and shame are psychological constructs, and a psychological construct is built of something that you are judging yourself by or others by, based on some sort of construct that's external to yourself. Okay. The internal construct, if you violate your own values, that's a different story. But if you're violating something that hasn't even been put there by you, or you're judging somebody for doing something that they've done, and you're seeing it as just bad, if you don't find the other side, then you'll feel the emotion. If you find the other side, how has it benefited the person? How does it benefit me? How does it help me grow? How does it help me be stronger? Then you'll see the part it played for you. You'll see some perfection in it, and you won't feel so bad about it in yourself. And if you're not feeling so bad about it in yourself, maybe you'll feel okay about it. And if you're feeling okay about it, it's not there. And if it's not there, it's easier to receive what you want, and our job is much easier to help you get your goals. Okay, so that's it for now. The course is closing today, 1st of Feb, so I don't know if there are any slots for calls left. There might be a couple this afternoon, actually. But if not, just private message me or send an email through the website, or if you have my number, ring my number. And look forward to chatting, and until next time, all the best.